Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, depending on where you are in the world. I would like to introduce to you three articles of interest. And before I do that, I would like to let you know this is for review, informational, and educational purposes. It's not to take the credit for the intellectual property of the article. The full credit of the intellectual property of the article goes to the publisher, which in this case is ABC News. And the headline reads, Former Kathy Hochul aide accused of scheming to advance interests of China. And ahead of you see this video. You'll be able to view this upon publishing of this article, and it's an embedded video on YouTube, but you'll be able to view this at the publishing of this review. Linda Sun, a former aide of New York Governor Kathy Hochul, schemed to advance the interests of China while working in New York State government. Federal prosecutors alleged an indictment on sale Tuesday. The indictment charges Sun with failure to register as a foreign agent, visa fraud, alien smuggling, and money laundering conspiracy. Her husband, Christopher, who allegedly facilitated the transfer of millions of dollars in kickbacks for personal gain, prosecutors said. Sun and Hu each pleaded not guilty during the arraignment in Brooklyn federal court Tuesday afternoon. Sun appeared in a black pantsuit and red blouse, while her husband appeared in slacks and a pale dress shirt. While working for Cuomo and Hochul administrations, Sun allegedly acted as an unregistered agent of China while her husband allegedly laundered the proceeds, enabling him to buy a $3.6 million house in Manhasset and a $1 million condo in Hawaii, prosecutors said. And ahead of you is a picture of the woman in question. And caption reads, Linda Sun in a photo posted to Twitter. Copyright Linda Sun 84/Twitter. Sun allegedly blocked Taiwan representatives from access to the governor, working to prevent meetings with Taiwanese officials and sought to, quote, shape the public statements, unquote, the governor made on China, prosecutors said. Quote, this is no ordinary financial fraud, unquote, Assistant U.S. Attorney Alexander Solomon said during the arraignment. Prosecutors said Sun and Hu operated more than 80 different accounts, and most of the evidence is in Chinese, including a WeChat message in which Sun is quoted telling a Chinese official, quote, I have done many things to make the relationship flourish. Sun was released on a $1.5 million bond, and her husband was released on a $500,000 bond. Under the terms of her release, Sun is not to have any contact with the Chinese consulate. Their next court appearance has been scheduled for September 25. In a statement to ABC News on Tuesday night, attorneys for Sun called the charges, quote, inflammatory, unquote. Quote, we are disappointed by the filing of these charges, which were inflammatory and appeared to be the product of an overly aggressive prosecution, unquote. The statement from her attorneys, Jared Schaefer and Ken Abel, read, quote, we are also troubled by the aspects of the government's investigation. As we said today in court, our client is eager to exercise her right to a speedy trial and defend herself against these accusations in the proper forum, a court of law, unquote. Ahead of you, there is a picture here of this lady and this other man holding a plaque, and it says, Linda Sun is seen as a photograph, including in her federal indictment. Copyright Consulate of China in New York. Sun and her husband were arrested at their Long Island home Tuesday morning, according to federal prosecutors from the Eastern District of New York and the FBI. The FBI had searched the Manhasset home in July. Sun was hired by the executive chamber more than a decade ago, before being fired last year, according to Avi Small, Hochul's press secretary. Quote, we terminated her employment in March 2023 after discovering evidence of misconduct. Immediately reported her actions to law enforcement and have assisted law enforcement throughout the process, unquote. Small said in a statement to ABC News. Quote, national security is critical and we must be free from foreign influence. Read a statement from Rich Asparty, Reps Cuomo. While Ms. Sun was promoted to Deputy Chief of Staff in subsequent administration, during our time she worked in a handful of agencies and was one of the many community liaisons which we had little to no interaction with the governor, unquote. Sun worked in state government for about 15 years before she was fired last year from her job as Deputy Commissioner for Strategic Business Development at the New York State Department of Labor. She previously served as Hochul's Deputy Chief of Staff and in the administration of former Governor Andrew Cuomo. And ahead of you, you have a picture of New York, and this is, I believe, the Governor Kathy Hochul. A caption reads, New York Governor Kathy Hochul speaks to the press about attending a meeting with the President, Joe Biden, and other Democratic governors at the White House, Washington, D.C., July 3, 2024. Copyright Elizabeth France / Reuters file. The indictment alleges the acting on the request of the Chinese government officials and representatives of the Chinese Communist Party. Sun blocked Taiwanese government officials from having access to high-level New York State officers, changed New York State officers' messages about China and arranged meetings for visiting delegations from the PRC government with New York State government officials. In return for these and other actions, Sun allegedly received economic and other benefits from China, including the facilitation of millions of dollars and transactions for the China-based business activities of WHO, travel benefits, tickets to events, promotions of a close family friend's business, employment for Sun's cousin in the PRC, and Nanjing-style salted ducks prepared for the PRC government's officials' personal chef that were delivered to the residence of Sun's parents, according to the indictment. Quote, as alleged when appearing to serve the people of New York as Deputy Chief of Staff within the New York State Executive Chamber, the defendant and her husband actually worked to further the interest of the Chinese government and the CCP, unquote. United States Attorney Breon Pease said in a statement, quote, the illicit scheme enriched the defendant's family to a tune of millions of dollars, unquote. A, quote, furious, unquote, Governor Hochul called the allegations against Sun, quote, brazen, unquote, shocking, unquote, quote, a betrayal of trust, unquote, during an appearance on WNYC. Quote, the scope of what she was capable of doing was shocking. I'm furious, outraged of this behavior and will not let the process play out, unquote, Hochul said. Hochul declined Hochul declined to reveal the nature of her actions, saying, quote, it will be coming out in court hearings, unquote. She said in her administration reported the misconduct to the Justice Department. Quote, she primarily worked for Andrew Cuomo for many more years. She was just with me for a short time, about 15 months, Hochul said. So that will do it for that first article. I'll let you come to your conclusion about what you think about it. My purpose is just to tell you about the news and then just present what's in the public domain. Let's go to the second article now. And before I do it, I would like to let you know this is for review, informational, and educational purposes. It's not to take the credit for the intellectual property of the article. The full credit to the intellectual property of the article goes to the publisher, which in this case is Tech Explorer, and the story by Brian Foley. Headline reads, scientists develop eco-friendly microfabrication method using water and paper. And ahead of you, see a picture of such thing in his finger, or in his hand, I guess, between his fingers. Caption reads, University of Chicago chemists develop an environmentally sustainable method for microfabrication that uses water and natural materials, including paper, to create and transfer patterns. Above study author Chuan Wang Yang holds an example of the printing process. Credit goes to Tin Lab. Now to the article itself. Imagine being able to create an incredibly teeny structure with same ease and sustainability as printing on paper. This is the frontier of microfabrication, the process of making microscopic structures that are crucial for the operation of everything from computer chips to medical devices. Traditionally, microfabrication has been an intensive process that involves environmentally toxic chemicals that are difficult to safely dispose of. However, scientists at the University of Chicago are hoping to change that. In their last publication of Nature Sustainability, the laboratory of Professor Bo Chi Tan has developed an environmentally sustainable method of microfabrication that uses water and natural materials, including paper, to create and transfer patterns. The process draws inspiration from nature, mimicking, for example, how geckos naturally stick and unstick from walls, according to Tien. And new use for water. Traditional microfabrication, which creates teeny patterns of microscopic scale using a process called photolithography, has long relied on harmful chemicals for manufacturing integrated circuits found in most home and consumer electronics. However, University of Chicago investigators discovered a more eco-friendly approach to microfabrication by using water as a green activation agent instead of a traditional toxic agents. Ahead of you see a related video entitled "Microplastics Discovered in Brain Tissue at Highest Volumes Ever," as per viewer. And this will be available upon the publishing of this review. Their innovative technique is a new spin on an old process known as salt-assisted photochemical synthesis. The new version utilizes lasers to create patterns of paper which can be easily transferred using water. Quote, "We discovered that water could gently and effectively separate teeny patterns from their base materials," said Tien. Using this technique, the team was able to improve the process of turning cellulose into paper into conductive carbon. They could then turn that carbon into advanced sensors by carefully adjusting the carbon surfaces and using stimulators to efficiently boost reactions in nanoscale materials. This valuable carbon created through water and laser writing has been shown to have diverse applications ranging from advanced sensors to intricate medical devices. Sean Wan Young, a postdoctoral research with the Tien Lab and first author of the paper, added, quote, "Using water instead of toxic solvents is a major step forward," unquote. Making the machine. To further enhance the method, Young developed an innovative tool called roll-to-roll laser writer, unquote. This device automates laser-based writing and pattern transfer, making the process faster and more dependable. Quote, "It took about 6 months to design and build this machine, but it has significantly improved our fabrication speed for large-scale applications," said Young. While acknowledging their method may not replace the precise techniques needed for creating intricate computer chips, the researchers were optimistic about its use for applications such as affordable disposable sensors for medical testing or wearable devices. Quote, "We see this being particularly useful for devices that don't need extreme precision of silicon chips but still require high functionality," said Tien. Peng Ju Li, a graduate student with the Tien Lab, also worked with the project, added, quote, "Our design enhances the fabrication efficiency of ultra-thin medical devices, including those used for cardiac and neural stimulation and sensing. By tapping into nature's power and using simple, eco-friendly materials, the team's innovative method is poised to reshape the microfabrication process, contributing to the growing wave of green technology that's defining the future of the science tech industry." Author would like to point out that for more information, Chuan Wang Yang et al. A bio-inspired permeable junction excuse me, approach for sustainable device microfabrication. Nature Sustainability 2024 DOI 10.1038/S41893-024-01389-S, provided by the University of Chicago. The story was published in Tech Explorer, and the author would like to point out that subscribe to their newsletter for the latest sci-tech news updates. Right. So, what do you think of that second? Of the second article about this microfabrication? Well, let's go on to the third article. And before I read the third article, I would like to let you know this is for review, informational, and educational purposes. It is not to take the credit for the intellectual property of the article. The full credit of the intellectual property of the article goes to the publisher, which in this case is the Cooldown. And the story by Stephen Proctor. Headline reads, Company unveils lightweight solar add-on for electric vehicles. A big step in that direction, as they have in single quotes. Let me get some water here, 1 second. All right. That's better. I had a little something clogged in my throat there for a second there. All right. Let's get to the third article here. Ahead of you see a picture of, it looks like solar panels on top of a car. And you can see the picture clearly here, as these are, I believe this, the solar panels on top of this car here. Caption reads, the estimated price for the EV solar charge is $3,000, but interested drivers can reverse one with a $100, reserve one. Sorry, I'm tongue twisted. They can reserve one for a $100 deposit. Now to the article itself. Have you ever driven your electric vehicle or EV and thought about how nice it would be to have your own mobile charging station? According to Clean Technica, a leading solar company has developed exactly that. GoSun has developed its EV solar charger, which the company claims it will fit on the EV and roof rack. The entire solar array weighs about 70 pounds and can deliver 1,200 watts of solar power, providing a solar only range of up to 30 miles per day. The EV solar charger can be unfolded and plug it into your EV anywhere you parked, and comes with the added bonus of providing shade for your vehicle, so it's not boiling hot when you're ready to take off again. Technology like the EV solar charger can convince prospective buyers to make their next car an EV, by easing concerns about range and wondering whether or not they'll be able to find a charging station. Not to mention, it will allow drivers to skip the frustration at many instances of gas-powered vehicles parking in EV charging spaces. On top of that, the EV solar charger uses clean energy to charge whatever the vehicle it's attached to, even though the benefits of driving an EV far outweigh the negatives. In many cases, whether at home or a charging station, dirty energy is used to charge the vehicle. See, that's the problem. They say energy neutral or carbon neutral, but that's not how it works. Dirty energy causes carbon pollution, which contributes to the overheating of the planet. Extreme weather events threatens the global food supply. And ahead of you see a related video entitled, Would you like to buy sunshine/sunlight? As per DW. And it is a video embedded into on this website that's on YouTube, and you'll be able to view that video upon the publishing of this review. The technology can also be used to charge your EV at home, saving on your electric bill. According to the website, it can also be used to charge devices like phone or laptop, providing electricity on a weekend camping trip. While EVs with built-in, that is, solar charging may still be a ways away. A Clean Technica points out this quote a big step in that direction, unquote. Okay. The estimated price for the EV solar charger is $3,000, but interested drivers can reserve one with a $100 deposit. According to CNET, a GoSun spokesperson, told them that the company has already made more than $1.8 million in pre-sales, and deliveries are expected to begin in early 2025. So get ready to get some happy EV drivers with the knowledge that they'll never have to worry about running out of charge again. Okay. And the author likes to point out that you'd like to join their free newsletter for weekly updates on the latest innovations improving their lives, shaping our future. And don't miss this cool list of easy ways to keep yourself while helping the planet. The author also would like to point out that the company unveils lightweight solar add-on for electric vehicles. A big step for that direction first appeared on the cool down. And that will do it for the third article. Let me get some more water here. Nice one. All right. Before I conclude the article review, I would like to take this time to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, as you could be watching any other science or technology video, but you're watching mine, so I greatly appreciate it. Now, as this did provide value to be up to date with the news about science technology, what I'd like you to do is please click like on the video. That way I'll be pushing the algorithm and more people will be able to view it and enjoy it. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button. That way you'll have access to all the content on this channel, as I certainly do have a variety of content on this channel for you to view and enjoy. Also, if you haven't already, please click the bell button. That way you'll be notified of all my future videos. And that way you won't miss any of my new videos, because you'll be notified accordingly when it comes out. So I'd like to wish you a great day wherever you are in the world. Take care,